And the troublemakers were the very people who were meant to be at the heart of stable family life. Women.
The demands are for 24-hour nurseries, equal pay now, equal job and education opportunities, and free contraception and abortion on demand under the National Health Service.
The women's movement had come a long way from flower-bombing beauty pageants. It was now an organized force with explosive ideas about family. The nuclear family, one leading feminist wrote, must be destroyed. The breakup of the family is now an objective, revolutionary process.
What do you feel you've gained from this afternoon?
I think a statement that women are coming together and they want a change.
But to change society, they believed, they had to change the family and all the humdrum wife and mum realities of domestic life.
Where did you put them? Those tongs, because I can't get the wash out.
Sally Alexander was born in 1943 in Berkshire. She's been married twice and has 2 daughters.
I didn't want to just be confined to the home and to being a housewife and so on. And so it was very important to be actively involved in the outside world and also trying to change the world, which is hence the involvement in the women's liberation movement.
Jan Williams was born in 1940. In the early 70s, she was a young mum living in Peckham in South London with her husband and 2 young daughters.
Oh, you cow.
You were a young mum with how many kids?
2.
And so you'd come round the duck pond,
So
as
I'd
you
come
do
round
with
the duck
2 little
pond.
kids, trying to
Yes.
entertain them.
Thinking, is this all there is to life? Chucking the bread for the ducks. Then one day I walked a bit further and heard this sort of shouting and laughing, and saw this little painted hut in the distance, and it was the 1 o'clock club. And they said, yes, you can come, it's free, it's for anybody.
Jan hadn't just joined any old mums and toddlers group. She had found a sisterhood.
A woman is supposed to be, pretty, attractive, passive, comforting, always comforting, gentle, understanding. Completely understanding. Yes, always understanding everything.
But the more we talked, the more we did realise that, we were second-class citizens. I mean, I remember going to the birth control clinic to have an IUD fitted, and I had to come home and get my husband's signature.
I really wanted to wear a wedding ring. Before we got married, I used to sit on the tube train coming back from work thinking, oh, it itches, this finger. I can't wait to get that wedding ring on it.
What was it that I was sort of dreaming about? Because it hasn't come true. I've got married, I've got kids, but the dream life isn't there.
And there was a group of people saying, oh, the nuclear family is a lot of the oppression of women.
And did you subscribe to that point of view?
Well, you listen to everything. I mean, I'd never heard that sentence before. The nuclear family being the cause of women's oppression. Hang on a minute. What does this really mean?
Yes.
And then you try and sort of think about it and you think, well, I know what you mean, because the husband goes out to work, he's got in touch with the real world, with his job and everything. You're staying at home, looking after the children, having the children, servicing the husband, iron shirts and bye-bye, darling, see you this evening. That was how we saw it. And so we were like saying, down with the nuclear family.
Annie, you get that done. It's very bad for children to just see the woman doing all this sort of mopping up process all the time. I mean, they must just get the idea that women are for that.
What is the family was one of the questions we asked ourselves. One began to see that the nuclear family had never really existed. It had never, only for a very, very brief moment is there kind of like mummy and daddy and 2.4 children, and that's about 1951 to about 1973 in Western European nations.
I work in the morning. I see lovers at lunchtime. I play with the children in the afternoon, unless, of course, I'm being photographed.
In the 1970s, Shirley Conran was a young media star, a successful writer and occasional filmmaker.
I think it was about time the family was destabilised. I think I was brought up in an area where your father was always right, somehow, when he clearly wasn't. And it was very much a patriarchal society. And this is not suitable for a modern society.
Do you think there should be sexual freedom for a man inside marriage?
I know this is a very difficult question. I don't really know. You've caught me very much on the hop in the middle of a racetrack with a very awkward one.
I know you won't regret it. Women don't forget it.
Shirley was divorced from her husband, the designer Terence Conran, a single mum juggling the demands of her career and the needs of 2 young children.
Try a little.
I think I can mend it, Mother.
One moment I was happily married, the next moment I didn't have any money and I had 2 children. And if it hadn't been for my mother helping me, I couldn't have managed.
Husband, children, job. The working wife's problem is how to balance all 3 of them. There may be women who can do it serenely, but I've never met any of them.
I'm not saying that all women should go out to work or all women shouldn't go out to work, but every woman should have the opportunity. And also, if we consign 50% of the population to the kitchen, then we're losing 50% of the country's best brains.
Radical talk at the time, but this message had even travelled the long road to Chichester.
Barbara, would you have considered yourself at the time a feminist?
Definitely, and I can definitely remember sitting in the locker rooms at Chichester High School for Girls talking to my friends saying, well, who's a feminist around here? Like this, and me going, I'm a feminist. So, you know, I was just that sort of person that thought feminism, wow, it's like coming home.
I'm home safe. The master's home minus his hangover. Hello, I'm sorry.
Even TV's most reassuringly suburban icon was taking a stand.
Phew, what's that terrible smell of burning rubber?
We just burnt our bras.
Well, that must have been a bit of a flop.
Did you ever see anyone burn their bra?
No. No, we did. Some people stopped wearing bras. No, I don't think it ever happened. Again, it's like the dungarees, isn't it? It's the myth. It's the myth.